Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley and today we're going to be reading some popular summer romance books, specifically contemporary romance books because that is the genre that I most closely associate with summer. And what better way to get into the summer feeling and to celebrate the new season coming in than reading some fun summer romances. I am very excited for this video because I feel like contemporary romance was what got me back into reading in my late teens and early 20s. So I'm looking forward to sharing the books that I read and just having a fun little time. I feel like if you're trying to get back into reading or start reading, then a nice contemporary romance in the summer is the perfect way to do that. The last 3 books I've read actually were contemporary romances, but for some reason they were not hitting the spot, and so I feel like I need some romance redemption at the moment and it can only go up from here. So I'm going to start with a new release, although I'm not sure if it'll be considered a new release by the time I post this video, but that is One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune. So let's start there and let's get into it. I actually did start this one yesterday, so I'm a couple chapters in, only at page 36 though, so I haven't really gotten into it. I didn't read the premise of it, so I did not realize that Charlie is in it. And if you don't know who Charlie is, he is one of the brothers in Every Summer After. And this one I really enjoyed. I believe I gave it 5 stars. It was the perfect summer read for me, and the romance just hit the spot. And so now knowing that it is connected to this one in terms of some of the characters, I have high hopes for this. Basically all I have found out is that Alice is our main character and I'm assuming Charlie is the love interest. I really hope this one's gonna be good because I think I mentioned it before, but the other 2 books that came out in between these, so Carley Fortune's second and third book, I did not enjoy at all. I think this is gonna be a pretty quick read, so let's get reading.
I'm trying hard for you. Talking like you.
Okay, I haven't gotten too much further into the book, but I did just want to mention that I always appreciate the fact that it's set in Canada and all of her books are set in Canada. Obviously, she is a Canadian writer. But I just felt seen when she mentioned, I think it was in the first couple chapters, she mentioned BC and Kelowna and wine. I think a book is always a little bit more interesting when it mentions or it's set in a place that you've been or you know, and you can connect with it more on a personal level. So I always enjoy the fact that it's set in Canada. Maybe one day she will make one set specifically in BC, although I'm assuming she's from Ontario, so I don't know about that, but that would be cool.
You want to say it's in there somewhere.
Alrighty, I am now about 3/4 into the book. I would say I have about a quarter left. I'm on page 259 and I feel confident now that I can kind of sum up what the story is about. Basically, the book is about Alice, who decides to take her grandmother to cheer up to the lake where they spent a summer when she was 17. She meets Charlie, who is of course from Every Summer After, and he is very confident, very flirtatious, and he's helping out around the cottage, and they start to kind of hit it off and become friends. He also just so happens to be one of the people in the photograph that she took when she was 17, the one that kind of inspired her and sparked her joy as a photographer and kind of set her career off. Basically, she decides that she wants to complete a bucket list of all these things that she didn't do when she was 17. Things are definitely starting to heat up. I think the characters do have really good chemistry together. I really like how Carley Fortune describes the lake and the overall scenery. I feel like you can tell she's basing it off of her experience and she has such fond memories spending time at a lake, so I feel like that really comes through whenever she's writing. I feel like I'm also just a sucker for teenage romance, and I think that's maybe why I liked Every Summer After so much. But with this one, although they're not teenagers, I feel like it's still giving those vibes because they are kind of living in her 17-year-old bucket list and doing all the fun teenage type stuff. I'm definitely enjoying it, but I am getting concerned because there's been some foreshadowing and it's making me think that it might not end with a happy ending, and I'm getting nervous. I'm getting very nervous and I'm scared she's going to kind of just crush us because she's done that before with the whole trope in Every Summer After. So I am getting nervous, I will say, and I'm assuming this is gonna happen. I'm assuming what I think is gonna happen, and that scares me. and I don't know why she had to make that happen if it does. We'll see once I finish the book if it actually happens or not. So let's finish reading One Golden Summer, and fingers crossed it does not end in tragedy. Alrighty, it's the next day now, and I've finished One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune. First off, let me just start by saying the tragedy that I thought was going to happen did not happen. So I'm happy about that. Something sort of along the lines happened, but it was not as big of a twist as I thought it was going to be. So thank you, Carley Fortune, for that, because I am relieved. I was getting a little bit worried. I actually really enjoyed this one, and I feel like it was the redemption for Carley Fortune I personally needed from her last two books. So I was pleasantly surprised. I would say this is the perfect book for a summer read, especially if you're going to be by a lake, of course, or even by the water or anything. It's just fun and it's summery. The connection between the characters and the flirting and the banter was really top notch, I would say. And I also enjoyed the relationship we get to see between Alice, the main character, and her grandmother, because I feel like in books I've read that's not often a relationship that's explored, the grandmother-granddaughter kind of relationship. There was a really good balance between the fact that they are in their 30s and they're dealing with very real, what I imagine to be kind of 30-year-old concerns and problems in terms of their career and getting older, while also balancing that fun feeling of being 17 and having a crush and having a fun summer. I think as of today, I would give One Golden Summer 4 stars, but I might have to think on it a little bit longer. But as of today, 4 stars. Now it's time to pick the next romance book we're going to be reading, which is very exciting. And I decided I would read one from off of my bookshelf because why not? They're kind of just sitting there, and sometimes I neglect the books that I actually own. So I have a couple romance book options. We have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I actually think I started reading this one couple summers ago, and I took it to California, I believe, and started it, and then I got distracted and I never ended up reading it, so I would start it from the beginning. So first option is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Then I have Set on You by Amy Leah, and I don't think this one is as popular. I haven't really heard as much about it, but it's about a curvy fitness influencer. And then last option is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I'm leaning towards this one because it is a summer book, and also I've never read a Tessa Bailey book. I just read the synopsis of this one, and I think I'm gonna go for this one. I really do want to read a summer book, and I feel like it sounds kind of fun. It looks like Piper is our main character, and she kind of spins out of control. She's a wild child, and her father decides to punish her by making her work at a bar in Westport, Washington. It looks like there'll be a little small town romance, so this should be good. And also I'm excited to read a new author. The main character's name is Piper, and now all I can think of when I think of Piper is White Lotus. It's time to read It Happened One Summer. Okay, I've just finished work for the day. It's about 3:40, and I was gonna go to the park to read because it's pretty nice warm day, the perfect day to read a little summer romance book, I would say. But I thought what better place to read It Happened One Summer than at the beach, because it's based in a fishing town, which I guess isn't really a beach town, but both involve the ocean and being near the water. So I thought, why not? Let's go to the beach instead. I'm only a little ways in right now. I'm on chapter 9, so page 73. But so far so good. I will say it's obviously a little bit cheesy and maybe gonna be predictable. I could totally picture this one as a movie while I'm reading it. I feel like I'm picturing some sort of like Hallmark kind of fun little movie. It says on the back that it's a Schitt's Creek inspired rom-com, but I've actually never watched Schitt's Creek, so I don't really know if it's giving that. I'm assuming it is. So far, all that's happened is Piper, who is kind of a socialite, and her sister have been banished by their stepfather to Westport, which is a fishing town, and she's met Brendan, who is our male main character, and it's definitely a grumpy sunshine situation. So let's head off to the beach and let's continue reading.
Now I know what you're thinking, that I shouldn't complain. I'm just saying all the negativity on my brain. Pessimism can be so hard to tame. 'Cause baby, with me, you'll see there's a cloud trying to block my sun. And if I don't push back, I'll be
Okay, I'm on chapter 12 now, and so far so good. I feel like one thing I'm noticing is there's randomly like sexually explicit or like vulgar sentences here and there, which kind of is not what I was expecting, but I'm still enjoying it so far. But yeah, I've just been tanning a little bit. I think I'm probably gonna head home soon though, because it's now, what time? Like 5:30. so probably gonna head home. But I've been really enjoying the weather. It goes perfectly with the book. I'll probably read a little bit more tonight, but we'll see. Alrighty guys, it's time to check in again with It Happened One Summer. As I said in the last clip, I was kind of taken aback by the spice scenes, and obviously in most romances you're gonna get a little bit of a spice scene, and they are quite descriptive sometimes, but for some reason, maybe it's just because I wasn't expecting it to be so spicy, or I don't know, but this one is a little bit too much for me. I would say it is very descriptive and just like very spicy. I don't even know how else to put it. Something is just a little bit different about this one than any other spice scenes I've read in other romance books, and I don't know, I think it's just not personally my cup of tea. So that has been kind of throwing me off while I'm reading the book. I think in the context of the story and with the characters, the spice scene and the level of the spice makes sense. Aside from that, there's not too much else to update on. I haven't actually gotten that far into it since last time I checked in because I've just been kind of busy and doing other things. But today it is the weekend now, and I'm actually going to head to the beach again, this time with my sister, and we're just going to read a little bit. I'm enjoying the book, but I can already tell it's not going to be a 5-star read for me. It's probably in the 3.5, 4-star range, but we'll have to see. We'll wait and see. And yeah, we got to go to the beach and just read this thing. We're all set up at the beach. It's a little bit windy, but I think it's gonna get pretty warm. My sister's actually running first, and then she's gonna meet me and also read, and I think she's reading a little romance book as well. That hospital scene though, if you've read this or if you read it, the hospital scene, I feel like that was just crazy. I don't know what to think. I'll have no words left. Emily's now back from her run. We're having a little reading session. She's reading We'll Always Have Summer, which is the 3rd book in Summer I Turned Pretty, and it's in anticipation of the 3rd season, right?
Yes. Well, I'm actually rereading it because I read it when I was like a tween, but that was a long time ago. So we have to freshen up and remember what happened. So we are prepared to make comparisons.
I think I need to reread it too, but probably not for a little bit until maybe July, because it comes out in, or no, does it come out in June?
July 16th, I think.
I'm going to wait a little
week
bit.
by week.
Reading,
Ooh.
snacks, sun, beach, first day of June also. So.
Do you want to try one of these?
What are your thoughts on this book so far?
I've only read like a few pages and I'm cringing. But I still like reading it. But now that I'm reading it, when I've already seen the other seasons, I'm imagining the show.
That always happens, I feel like.
Yeah, but Belly is annoying, so we'll see how far I get.
Okay guys, I have now finished It Happened One Summer, and I feel like I would give it a 3.75 maybe. I kind of feel like I need to actually adjust my ratings because now that I've let some time pass, I feel like One Golden Summer would be a little bit higher than a 4-star, like maybe a 4.25, and then this would be a 3.75. Maybe I'll adjust them at the end, but yeah, I feel like this would be a 3.75, and it's basically for the same reason that I've been saying since the start. The intimate scenes were a little bit much for me, but I do really like how Tessa Bailey writes, and I'm assuming her other books are kind of that spicy as well. So I do think I would read another one by her, but I would just be more prepared going into it and knowing like what to expect. The book was a little bit predictable, but I didn't really mind that. I think the only part where I got frustrated was the 3rd act breakup. And I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler, but at first I was like, okay, great, she's fighting for the relationship. And then of course she gets held up and is not able to make it to the dock to say goodbye to him. And then I was also annoyed by the fact that she just decided to leave Westport and go back to LA. I didn't really enjoy that, and I feel like I was just like, what the heck, why would you do that? What are you doing? But I guess her character was confused, so it makes sense. All in all, I would recommend this book, especially if you like spicy scenes, and then if you like a little bit of like a cheesy romance. The characters did have really good banter and connection, so that was nice, and I do really like Tessa Bailey's writing style, so I would recommend it. It was a fun summer read. So that takes us to book number 3, and at this point I couldn't could have named this video Reading Romance Books with Blue Covers because I chose to read Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So side note, this is the library copy. It's also the large print, which is kind of nice actually because it's way easier to read. But I wasn't originally going to read this book for this video, but then I realized it had been on my TBR for a while, and for some reason I never associated this one with summer, and I think it is partly because of the cover. It's a little bit less summery, I would say, than some of her other books. So this one follows Nora, who is a literary agent, and her sister Libby convinces her to go on a little sister trip getaway to North Carolina, and she bumps into Charlie, who is an editor, and she kind of knows him from back in the city. So I did start the book. I'm only a couple chapters in, but what I've gathered is basically Nora is that other girl who gets left behind, that one who is more cold-hearted, you would say, in the classic Hallmark movies where her boyfriend goes to a small town to save some sort of business and then ends up staying there and falling in love with some small town girl. She is that other girl who is left behind and who's kind of like the villain in the story. So I feel like that's going to be an interesting perspective to get throughout the book. And I also like how it is kind of, I don't know if you call it meta, but she is a literary agent and Charlie is a book editor. And then we're also addressing classic tropes in the book, but it's also a romance book itself that's going to have tropes. I am definitely interested to see how Emily Henry tackles that, and the fact that it's like she is a writer, but she's writing about people in the writing world. Charlie was also the name of the main male love interest in One Golden Summer, and Charlie is the name of the main male love interest in this one too. So it's going to be a little battle of the Charlies. And there is also a bucket list aspect in this one because Libby has made this bucket list for her and Nora to complete while they're on their little vacation. So there are some similar elements, but of course the book feels very different already. So we're going to get to reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So far, I am enjoying this one. I love the back and forth between Charlie and Nora, and I'm interested to see what Libby's little secret is she's hiding or why she's so unwell, and just get deeper into that. Also, as a sister, I like reading about their sister relationship, so let's continue. Okay, I'm in a random park in Vancouver because I'm killing some time, but what better way to kill time than to read? So I have Book Lovers, and I'm just gonna read for probably the next hour or so, but so far I am enjoying the book. I definitely have a good feeling about this one, and it's also Emily Henry, so I have high hopes, and so far so good. I feel like already I'm liking her writing in it, and I'm enjoying it much more than Great Big Beautiful Life that I just read by her as well. So we shall see how it goes. It's super nice out again today, so let's get to reading. Finished Book Lovers. I think this was actually one of my more favorite books that I've read of Emily Henry. As always, her writing is very good, and I liked the theme of books throughout the book. I think it just worked well, and especially with some of the ways she's written it, it's like this quote spoke to the theme of books, but it also spoke to the character and it spoke to the setting as well, which I thought was really smart. I'll give you a little example actually. So with this one, Nora is asking the author why she chose to write her book set in Sunshine Falls, which is also the small town that Nora's in right now. And the author responds, "It just seemed like the kind of place that might look one way on the outside and be something totally different once you got to know it. Like if you had the patience to take the time to understand it, it might be something beautiful." And I feel like that quote really hit on major themes of the book, which I really liked. And then I also highlighted this one that says, "Sometimes even when you start with the last page and you think you know everything, a book finds a way to surprise you." Which is a random quote, but I just liked it. And then there's another quote that I liked, which isn't specifically about books, but it says, "I'm happy for them, because this wanting, it feels good. Like a bruise you need to press on, a reminder that there are things in life so valuable that you must risk the pain of losing them for the joy of briefly having them," which I really liked and really spoke to me. I do think with this one, there is less focus on Nora and Charlie's relationship and the romance as a whole, and there is more focus on Nora's relationship with her sister Libby. So I think the romance was a little bit less centralized in this book in comparison to some other romance books that I have read, but I didn't really mind that too much. We did get good insight into her family and the struggles that she goes through internally and the type of person she basically is. Nora is seen as this kind of cold-hearted workaholic, and I actually did kind of relate to her character in some ways. Overall, I really liked this book. I would give it 4 stars right now, I think. And I think the reason why is because of what I was specifically looking for with these books, and that was a fun summer read. And this one didn't give as many summer vibes as the last 2 I read. So that was one thing it was lacking for me in this particular moment. But all in all, I enjoyed it. I liked the characters, and I think it was a good read. I think my verdict has changed a little bit. So with book lovers, as I said, I'm giving it 4 stars at the moment. I would recommend this one if you want like a good all-around read. It's good for any season, I would say, even though it is set in summer. And it is really well written. So 4 stars for book lovers. With It Happened One Summer, I'm gonna keep my 3.75 star rating at the moment. I would recommend this one if you want a spicy book and you want good chemistry and a summer small town romance. And then with One Golden Summer, I don't actually remember what I rated it, but I think it was lower than this. But I'm gonna give it a 4.5 now because it's brewed in my mind, and I think also now that I don't even have like the recency effect, I'm gonna up it. So I think like 4.5 I'm gonna give it right now. This one I would definitely recommend if you want a summer read because it is just so, I don't know the word, like atmospheric and like scenic, and you just feel the summer fun and the summer setting and the summer vibes. So I'm gonna give it that 4.5, and I would recommend it if you want a very fun summer book to read, and also there was good chemistry between the characters and good banter. So those are my final verdicts for now. They can always change. I always find it really hard to rate books because it's so dependent on where I am, like where I am mentally, the season it is, where I read the book, everything like that. Overall, I really enjoyed all 3 books that I read. I will say I am a little bit romanced out now. I did start a psychological thriller last night because I need a little break. I need at least 1 book break so that I can cleanse my mind and experience a different genre. This video was super fun to film actually, so thanks for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!